Today, I do not have a co-host along with me, unless somebody cares to pop in at random, which they are welcome to do, but I do not have anyone arranged for today. Last week, we finished the very sad Farewell North, and so that leaves today with nothing scheduled and no particular preferences. So, the last time we were in this kind of situation, I played a game from my backlog that I had yet to get to. The Unfinished Swan. Which, according to my notes, the audience was particularly insistent that I play that before this, even though they are not strictly sequels? I actually don't know what the situation is between these two games. Maybe they are strictly sequels, but like, y'all were weirdly insistent that that one needed to happen first. And it did. So now that we find ourselves in the uncertain situation again, why do I never need to sneeze before the cameras are on? I'm allergic to my lamps. Or something. But yes, now that we find ourselves in the uncertain situation again, let's crack back into the experience of mind-bending shenanigans and not knowing what's going on. As mentioned, I do not have a host this time, so the only remaining business, given that introductions are not necessary, well, further introductions are not necessary, if my doings are entertaining or otherwise valuable to you, consider expressing that value back to me in dollars. I truly appreciate it. I'm just glad you're here. And with all that, let's start. Welcome properly to the jewelry box, back to mind-bending shenanigans, and today, to what the hell? A little bit louder than I was anticipating. To What Remains of Edith Finch? An excellent question. It is louder and less sensitive than I would like. That DPI? That DPI feels alright. Oh, okay. Ah. That would be the connection then, wouldn't it? What's a responsive menu? Alright, let's bring that just down ever so slightly. Ultra, 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 ultra. I'll turn that on. And adjust for the sake of the capture card slightly. There we go. See, this is what I usually do before I go live, but I didn't have a plan today, as mentioned. Oh.
lot of this isn't going to make sense to you. And I'm sorry about that. I'm just gonna start at the beginning, with the house.
Okay.
Someone had put up a chain link fence, but it looked like I wasn't the first person to hop it.
Oh, God.
My brother Milton disappeared when I was 4. It was like the house just swallowed him up.
Hello. Okay, well now I understand with the mouse sensitivity, we have a body. Now I understand why the mouse sensitivity was so low by default. Because the walking speed is so low by default as well. Hoi. All of my other movement keys cause me to zoom in.
I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
Flowers. That is quite a number of unretrieved papers.
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
What a nifty little mailbox. Obviously representative of the house itself? Yeah, there it is.
I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral.
It is? Are the birds not real? I mean, I know the birds aren't real, but like in the video game, the bird's not real.
My mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked.
Possibly the rooms you weren't allowed in?
She thought I'd know. Or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
Inches. Go for inches. Oh. And we've got the pick-up path already. Oh boy. Well, as in the world, progress lies to the left.
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it. But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to.
Oh, okay. So, funeral, disappeared. Yeah. I'm curious about the leaves that just like, boop. Oh, come on. Don't just put... It just puts a brighter filter over it. I wanted the lighting to be, like, enhanced in a fashion. Hello, heathen. How are you today?
The woods around the house have always been uncomfortably silent. As if they're about to say something, but never do.
You're familiar with woods talking. Love me a floating twig or two. These, like... What is up with this? I think these are meant to be full-scale trees, and they are, not? Oh, well, no, they're plants that are supposed to be on the ground, and they also aren't. Good start. I mean, the foliage looks really nice until you... Never mind. Until you notice that some of it's floating or, like, clipped out of the ground. Yep. Milton with his little crown and everything. So is this just the other path that I didn't take then? Both paths led to the same? Oh, hi! Guess it probably did.
No one had driven this way in a long time, but I saw a few hoof prints.
Okay, well. Then I was meant to encounter that first, and yeah, here we are. A walk in the park sounds nice. My new job is going well, and I am suddenly a lot more active than I was. So it's kicking my ass slightly, but it's also not terrible. What on earth is that? Like the head of a mechanical dragon.
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it. As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words.
I mean, if the shadows on my house, like, loaded in when I was about 30 feet from it, I would also be pretty uncomfortable.
Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew
Ultra
exactly
graphics.
what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
Okay, come on. You've got floating plants in... You've got floating plants in the forest. And shadows that visibly, like, load in. But you also have the actual string this is hanging from deforming rather than solidly rotating. Good Jesus, what a detail. Why?
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
Did I need to do that? Oh, I may have missed some dialogue in outside.
The power had been turned off the night we left.
I unfortunately do not know what I'm getting into at all. Witch's Kitchen, Viking's Belly. These are good.
For the first time in years, I felt like I was home.
Okay. They're good book titles once. Now they are filler.
But instead of a family,
There's a lot
they were
of
just
books, though.
memories of one.
The hell's that noise?
Like how only one restaurant would deliver to our house, so we had Chinese a lot. Or how after Louis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly.
What is... That picture makes me uncomfortable. Because it's very clearly real people with, like, real food and plates badly photoshopped into... I mean, the photoshopping's not that bad, but, like, badly photoshopped into this room. And, like, if this were an art asset being made in the current year, this would probably just be AI people, which would suck out loud as well. That is a lot of fish. Canned fish.
The table was still a wreck from the night we left. It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone
Jesus.
but sparing the furniture. My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home. Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth.
Speaking of AI generation.
Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank.
That is so many books. The books, their television doesn't even have a stand. It's just on more books. So many books. So this room seems weirdly well lit. For a place that has no power. This is a brighter eminence than outdoors would create. And it feels like it's coming from a lamp that's not right here.
Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit.
Fuck you, game. That's not the way I'm rotating the crank.
Great-Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house.
NATO bird. Obligatory. This shit drives me up the fucking wall. Anyway.
A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night. My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
So you lock the door, and then you board the door, and then you bolt the board, and then you, like, caulk the door shut?
Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library.
I don't like that. I don't like that that's the... I don't like that that's the comment, and the door looks like this. Every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library. Door sealed, 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 and sealed. Thank you, Danny. Like, look at this door. You're busy, obviously, but, like... A locked door with a board across it, which is bolted down and caulked shut.
After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms.
Oh, and the library.
Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes. Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947.
Okay, so they were sealed with the caulk first. And then instead there were peepholes. This one did not have a label. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that... I didn't remember a label, and that one did have a label. I wanted to make sure that that was the case. Okay, what the fuck? Oh, it's a mask. Thank God. Okay. I think there's no way a game from... When did this game come out? Like, there's no way there's actual AI assets in here, and yet, girl with lion's face. I just didn't notice the mask straps.
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
A Scream Queen and... like, child star, possibly. I don't like it. Books, 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 books. A little bit of wine, books, book. Like, this feels like it should have more wine in it. There's space behind this. Like a lot of space behind this.
Edie's father, Odin, built the original house.
Mead would be good.
Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it.
I see. But it sounds like the family didn't. They tend not to. Cord? I mean, obviously there's no power, but what the hell's this cord go to?
Mom must have locked the 3rd floor stairs on the night we left.
Goes somewhere beyond that.
The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
Neat.
My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin. As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
Why? Why? This is the most fucked up room I've ever seen. Danny, what would you put in the floor or on the floor of a bathroom? As far as flooring? Okay. Second best choice. What would you say is the worst option?
Carpet.
I have one worse for you than that.
Flash?
Shag carpet.
Oh, no.
I am looking at a shag carpeted bathroom with a shag carpet matching toilet seat. Things decided upon by people who do not have to clean them the entire room. Okay, well, let's finally go into
I
Shark
spent
Room.
a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room.
Uncle Walter. Oh, it's Whale Room, actually. No, I guess that is a shark.
I think
Never
my
mind.
mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up.
I get the point that, like, the lettering is in the world. I just noticed my caption didn't work. Hold on. There we go. But like, I realize the text is in the world, but the way it takes control of the camera to make me look at the text is not great.
Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
The secret passages are with the keys too, huh?
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets.
Amnesia's
Now,
really
time
had
to find out what my
a
mom
lot
had
to
been
answer
afraid of.
for in video game design, doesn't it?
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me. Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan. But I had no idea what was behind that door.
Oh, I want to go the other way. Oh.
Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
I wanted to go the other... Ugh, fucking son of a bitch. Video game.
I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole. Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage.
Oh, that's very silly. I wish I'd gotten to look at it more.
Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
Mario 64. No, I can't even walk into it. Never mind. The hell's that? A fox! Okay. All things are good here. There is a fox. Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no. Danny, there's a floor plan of the house. In a variety of colors. Every game is turning into blueprints. I know. I just can't get away from it. No, sorry. Not every game coming out now is turning into that. I mean, everything I play.
Oh, you're seeing it in every
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat.
Ah. I see what you mean about uncomfortable stories. Looky here. This one's familiar.
My Halloween candy was all gone. The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it.
Eesh.
I thought about eating Christopher, but I held back. Mom, can I come out now?
Sweetheart, it's late. Go to sleep.
I don't like that very much. Not only did she send you to bed without food. She has locked you in the
I
room,
kept eating and eating.
including toothpaste.
I ate a lot of things that night.
Ah.
Then I heard chirping outside my window. It
Well,
was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her. And suddenly, I was a cat.
You were a cat. Okay.
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
It appears to be Christmas. Whoop. Yeah, Christmas, all right. Am I going to the gutter? Oh boy, okay. Why is this up here?
Mom and Dad didn't even look at me. The babies were all gone.
Well, I figured I'd look.
I jumped and I almost got her.
What is this?
I could tell she was getting really tired. Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird. I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass.
I don't have any earthly idea how I'm meant to...
Rabbits. I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger.
Okay.
A mama rabbit. She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating.
Gross.
And suddenly, I was a shark.
Not known for being in trees, but sure. Okay, I know this is I know this is gonna be sad, but there's something very I mean, there's not even something very silly. I'm watching a shark ragdoll down a mountain.
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever. I wanted fat, juicy seals. I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good.
Oh, these controls are not ideal. I don't even know where you went. There. Okay.
I grabbed on tight, but I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed.
What are you now? Oh. Oh dear. Kraken? Oh, it is Christmas.
Yeah, you know, for a walking simulator, you'd think they would have better walking.
Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere. I was big, but I moved real quiet.
Eel quiet. Thank you.
I wanted to stop, but also I didn't.
Oh, wait. This isn't a tentacle. I am only this snake thing. Because there is no the rest of me behind me. Kind of seems like there's supposed to be, but like...
After the last passenger, I was still hungry.
That
And across the water, I smelled something.
that one wasn't a passenger.
Something I had to have, so I swam towards it.
Like, yeah, there isn't the rest of this.
I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe.
Thanks for not making me crawl up somebody's butthole. You could have,
I got closer and closer.
but you didn't. Ah, yes, you swam across the water to find yourself, hungry in your bed. and eldritch hunger consumed you.
All of my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything.
And wrote all of this
It's
down.
waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
I was a little curious how this was all written down in the diary, but seems like that's how.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
Huh. Well, this plush jellyfish is,
I can't describe it, but I felt like some part of Molly was still here.
a lot weirder now. Okay, one option is to follow that. Oh, only option is to follow that. Excuse me. Follow the sequence as foretold. Oh, no.
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories.
There's a strong trellis.
Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly.
I spent a lot of time in Great Grandma Edie's room.
Rob, Lurpy, Purpley, Bob, Burpy, Derpy. This one does not have a name placard. Furpy. I'm noticing like two conflicting patterns here. Zerpy. Perfect, perfect. Derpy Jr. Good, good. Okay, well, I have apparently a bowl of macaroni and cheese to enjoy, and an ad break to go to because Twitch is like this. We will see you in a bit. Welcome back. Yeah, as we were talking about before ad break began, content warning is relevant. I didn't know what I was getting into. I still don't know what I'm getting into. But that is essentially the gist of it. This is a collection of very sad stories, it seems. And the first one was child death. So the bar is in the stratosphere, and I don't know what else is going to happen.
We got along, and it was a good place to hide from my mom.
I'm sorry, what?
Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious.
Win a family day out at Druid World?
I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long, long time.
Do you think this is the cartoon or like just literally? It's a stupid joke.
One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity.
All right. Wait, concepts? Is the dev work like in universe?
When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't.
Ah, that would be the large dragon head that we saw. Unfortunate.
Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
Well, for one thing, she seems decent.
Louis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him.
Edie knit me a new pair of gloves every year, just in time to replace the old ones.
Her room was like a museum. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout
Do I
Norway
remember
for their
these things?
fortune and misfortune. Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son.
Sorry, the what?
Johan.
The family what?
On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind. But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea. Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house.
Family curse, you say?
Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
Uh-huh. Okay. Here's a cute bird. Why? Why? Why did we have to go in the worst room in the house? Just try not to think about how gross this is, Jules. It'd be gross and then left alone here for how many years? Ah. You've got the high-tech equipment of... You've got the high-tech equivalent. No. You've got the high-tech equipment of the like, stair climber thing. Juxtaposed neatly with the low-tech equipment of a lawn chair in the bathtub. Good. Give me some bathroom wine.
The
don't
only
like
trace
that.
Grandpa Sam's first wife Kay left on the house was the pink bathroom.
Well,
It was
thank
a pretty
goodness.
big trace.
Thank goodness she was the first wife, because that this is not the work of a keeper. There's a secret in this bathroom. Don't.
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
Okay, that's very cute. Dark room hidden immediately behind your horrible pink
Sven
bathroom.
gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
Okay. I'm sorry, what? Murder? Milton was here too. Okay. That one didn't even try to have a secret door. Guess that means I can try to leave that way again, eh? Yeah, it's the little miniatures that were photographed alongside the spaceship in that previous picture. Captured. Okay. Oh. That's the saddest story so far. No, that's fine.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin.
Is there more to that?
And that he never talked about him.
Okay. Another cord that's
I guess
going
my grandpa
somewhere.
didn't like history any more than my mom did.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it. My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom, and he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again, and he wasn't.
Adding motion
I think
sickness
Calvin
to
always wanted to fly.
the content warnings.
Sam, Calvin, dinner's ready. Coming.
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that,
Calvin, I'm not gonna tell you
Maybe if the wind hadn't picked up, then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind.
I'm gonna go ahead and just
That's what I want to remember
flip-flop
about my
that,
brother.
'cause I'm gonna go watch this one. The tiny one. Oh, it's making me sick.
The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
Blech. Don't put that first person.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
I figured from the other one, they probably wouldn't show it, but the visual alone was making me sick. So I can't imagine it'll be especially pleasant to watch.
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room.
You just rope it off.
Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
Just rope it off and leave all of this here staring at... I hate that. Okay. Oh, it's like a garage door. Oh, wait, some of those books are just painted on. Several of those books are just painted on.
The passages were a pretty tight fit.
Hey,
They'd
it's that one that I
obviously
saw
been built
earlier.
for smaller hands and bellies.
Growing up,
Wait,
I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
but... what a shit room this would be. I mean, your accomplishments, sure, but like, just Bigfoot. Ah.
Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
I love that you can hear the terrible box spring that we just sat down on.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now
I
at
see.
16, she was all washed up. A has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
her biggest fan and current boyfriend,
I'm...
was about to demonstrate when...
Just
Now
need the
that
right
was a great
motivation
scream.
to scream. I don't like where that's
Barbara's
going.
Father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back. in a
Fucking
sec.
tried that. Well, unintentionally, I tried that earlier.
Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box.
Who put the key back in the music box?
And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
You've shown... You can't use this. You can't use this. What? How are you playing this?
Found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
Really? Neat. Okay. Oh god, this game has a really terrible time of like... does a silly thing, and then it does a horrible thing, and then it does a silly thing, and then it does a horrible thing. Wait, only the 8-ball? No. Oh, okay, good. I was worried that I was certain that there must be an achievement with that, but I was worried it was get one of them into the pocket. It was instead clear them all off. Which I did do. Wait, did he get got by the same...
The infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
normal bag. This is the table saw that fucking got a man earlier. Terrible, terrible sculptures. Biff.
The old fridge rattled and grew still.
Oh dear! Rick?
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and you're...
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the Late Late Picture Show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
But we couldn't just have the gimmick happen once. Oh. Oh, I love egg chairs. Eat shit, skeleton? No. Okay.
Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Barbara turned, saw the hook man, and was speechless. He was quite smashing.
Okay, just because you're doing a comic thing, I saw that. I saw that close with a snicket.
That night, she played her part beautifully.
Are we exiting?
Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned.
Ah.
He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet.
Okay. The egg chairs are 1,500? Oh.
Man had vanished.
Naturally.
She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was...
Okay, now it's still in the...
Someone at the door was dying to speak to young Barbara. At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
The monsters had come to surprise her.
Oh.
For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous.
Oh.
And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But
Fucking Mars Attacks thing?
so did
Really?
her fans.
Really?
Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter, hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story.
Yeah, why did he cry out?
Barbara, tucked inside the music box, is all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
Awful. Awful.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
Okay, never mind. This is the most disgusting room. We're gonna seal off your birthday, whatever the hell that is, forever.
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
Okay. Well, now we know that my fiddling with the music box was the correct asterisk thing. How many times? That many times. Honestly, kind of a neat mechanism. Really do want to know who took that back out, put it back in there when guy went down to the... whatever. Some plot holes in your stories. That's all I'm saying. I'm a little upset that the balls are not in the same positions that they were after I hit them the hell out of there. But who knows how long it's actually been. I guess we could calculate that. We do have years. So, probably
Mom
turning
said
on...
the basement was off limits, unless I
Power?
wanted another tetanus shot.
Jesus. Tell me you got a different table saw.
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages.
I thought maybe she was hiding presents.
It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
Wait, the power is on? Hold on. Also, I can't see shit. Game's got a real problem with brightness.
I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could. If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
You know, for all of the prepping that this shows off here, y'all tend not to get terribly far into the survival span. move. What is that noise? Stop it.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years. On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule, living for today. I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything.
What is the shaking?
Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly.
Now really what you ought to have done is got the rights for,
And then one day, everything just stopped.
This is a lot of
Whatever
peaches.
that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid.
Begging you to tell me you ate it, something besides
It's been a
peaches.
week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave. Well, I still can.
I'm not totally sure I understand this one.
I know it's out there, somewhere. Whatever killed Barbara. And Molly.
Oh yeah, you're hiding from like the manifestation of the curse. I mean, I guess you did get 30 years out of this one, so like your fortress worked-ish.
Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me.
A+ on that. Now the lights are on, of course. Game's got a real problem with brightness, as I keep saying.
Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food.
Is this a out-of-service train
I don't
line?
mind if I only have a year left.
Is that what the shaking was?
Or a month. Or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day.
The moment he leaves?
I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Of course. Of course.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here.
Her hearts were entertained in June. No, we're not doing that.
I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me.
That's heavier for you. Okay.
Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter. But if she never told me about an uncle under the house...
Sorry, is that a jar of ketchup? That's a mayonnaise jar of ketchup.
I can only imagine what else she was hiding. I don't want to make the same mistakes she made.
Also, now with lighting, I realize what this is. This room must smell awful.
Trying to bury something that's still alive. Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe two, I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself. And found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
Yes, I know what to leave on the gravestone of a man who got hit by a train. A model train. That's super rude and fucked up. He didn't have a particular appreciation for trains. It's just there as...
I don't know if I should even be writing this.
There are trees in these chairs. There are chairs in these trees! Jesus! There are... I mean, it's also true. There are trees in the chairs. That's not what I meant to say. Hello, Sean.
Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me.
Appreciate you visiting. I did see that you were doing some dev time.
But I thought you should know about your family. And the history you're a part of.
Ah. How's that?
Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now. I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth.
It's remarkable how little light these lights are actually providing. I don't know if enjoy is precisely the right concept, but it is an interesting experience. I remember owning one of these awful, awful lawn chairs. Can't believe I miss those awful, awful lawn chairs.
And when you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness, any of it seems possible.
Gary. Anyway. Can you stop? Got something in my eye. Oh yeah, you just never did anything with that, did you? It is so dark.
I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it.
Maybe
What
that's
kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house?
Maybe that's what Spotify was on about today with the ominous playlist. I'm thinking lately about like divination via playlist
it's
shuffle.
embarrassing for me to admit this, but
And gave some additional thought of that, or gave some additional thought to that today. And then, as if prompted, on my drive home from work, Spotify gives me, what is it? Intentional Death and Dismemberment, Skeleton Tree, Destroyer of Worlds, No One Lives Forever, Ozymandias, a song just called Death, and then Pablo Minibar. So, you know, maybe it's trying to tell me
Pet
something.
Cemetery made me more uncomfortable.
Maybe
than
not.
The human one. 3 of the gerbils were mine, and 2 had been my fault.
Blank. Oh, sorry, a whole gravestone for a fish? It's also a really shockingly long time for a fish, I think, isn't it?
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
I mean, it's a good cemetery. I feel like you ought to have stood that one up.
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away. She could see it poking out of the water at low tide.
Hmm.
Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night.
Okay. Be careful that the stone boat doesn't fall back into the sea.
Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better.
Excuse me.
She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us. We never found Milton's body, so my mom insisted we were putting up a monument, not a tombstone.
I see.
There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now.
Oh, now it's just
Part
written
of
on
me
the
thinks
screen.
this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself. But looking back on it now,
I know this table.
if she told me there was going to be so much climbing,
I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
Wait, sorry, what? Need to, no, back up. I need to look down at our body again, please. Ah. You are technically part of this cursed family, you know. Perhaps you should not be climbing with baby. I would say it's probably a bad idea. It's so fucking dark. There's not a lot I can do about it. Because the way the game turns up
Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common.
the way the game turns up the brightness is rough. Like, it's just like, congratulations, you've got a semi-transparent thing overlaid on it.
They were both pretty intense.
Fair. Oh yeah, more of this.
Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
No. No! Let me open things without going through them, please.
Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
Yeah, and, bring it to others. Lovely.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Mm-hmm. Am I gonna have to
Okay.
shoot anything?
It's a hunting trip, Dawn. Shooting is strongly encouraged.
Alright, well, before another one sneaks up in the middle of something, I'm gonna go ahead and run this now. Okay. We return now to a blurry camera.
Not quite.
Oh.
What? It's too early, Dad.
Perfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? Please just take the damn picture.
Hey, language.
Picture of the car?
Did you want to get a picture of me or what?
Where? Where's you? Oh.
I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are. Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee.
You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though.
Is there a specific thing that I'm meant to be looking for as I do these pictures? Just like what's meaningful to me in a rangefinder is not the same answer as what's meaningful to you.
Aw.
A burb. No? Cool, thanks, game. Yes, there are things you're meant to be looking for in order to progress this sequence. What are they? Eat my ass.
Nothing quite like being outside.
Hold.
Hey!
That's a keeper.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Don. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Literally all of us.
Serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20
Is that a
years.
model of the house?
Last time I was with my brother Calvin.
Dad!
Good eyes, Don. Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Dad, I...
Just breathe. Turn off your imagination. Focus on your target. Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Dawn, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong. Great shot, Dawn! I'm proud of you, Dawn. Always remember that, okay?
Yeah, that's not gonna fucking help, mate.
Sorry, Dawn. Just gotta reset the timer.
I didn't realize I was on a timer. I also don't know how the geometry is over here.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally normal, Dawn. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Dad!
Good.
Of all these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
I mean, not that she was there for it. But
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
moon. That's a horrifying picture. Looks like we're in for another baby. Oh, child. Hold on, what? No, I want... No, the player's not supposed to want to read the words.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it.
Frog.
He saw things the rest of us don't.
Oh my god. First person baby. Transformative experience representing the true gamer. First person baby. Oh. Mechanical frog.
Time's over, Gregory. It's time to... Hold on, sweetie. Hello? Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I his world was like. He reminded me so much of Calvin. Lost in his imagination. Whatever it was he saw.
Oh no.
It sure made him happy.
Where'd the ball come from? Speaking of things that you can't just play, this is... I can't put this on YouTube, can I?
I know how silly it sounds. But I worried about a baby being too happy. I could feel him slipping away.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it. Hold on, I don't want Gregory.
I wish he could have told us.
Ah.
About the world he saw.
Naturally.
There's so much I don't understand. About Gregory. About everything.
Well, we already had this swimming sequence simulator. Why not make another one?
But I know what happened wasn't your fault. I'm sure he's happy. And he'd want you to be happy too. Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
Sorry, what? What's with the lockers and, like, actual barracks? What? Oh. Of course.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet...
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard.
I have catamaried the poem.
My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom, were the words that I
now
remembered.
pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
Can't help but notice there's a thunderstorm coming. At least that's what I think I hear. Oh, hi.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger. The wind picked up and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent. The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder." I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't, until we found you.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Really? He died hit by, like, flying debris? Or was it actually a lightning strike? Oh, I really hate all of this. I really hate all of this. Could the deer have killed you sooner? Before you had the chance to children's military experience your house?
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get. She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Frog one and wind one, yeah.
Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died.
No. Wasn't I just down here? Did I? Oh boy. I don't know what's worse for this pregnant person that we are playing as. Climbing a climbing wall or a fire pole. Oh, there it is.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Louis was born a year later.
I guess we did not need to use the fire pole. 22 weeks, according to previous voiceover.
When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go.
That much.
I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. And to see kids in the house again. The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that.
Oh, my family had one of these. She's been doing a lot of climbing.
Good. Almost normal.
Like stairs and such, and not feeling great about it. The climbing wall is probably the worst so far. Rote memorization. Lovin'.
But it didn't last.
A little home school, like a miniature home school built vertically on top of a barracks of a bedroom where your lessons are about your own family history. Ugh. I don't. I don't like when any of this portends.
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
And he would never let go of that castle. Please be in black
After
and white.
Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
Yep. That tracks. I know how this works.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Please. I know it would not. I know it's not what's going to happen, but some part of me wants this flipbook to just launch Unfinished Swan. I know. Paint yourself a door
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
and go in it. Strange little Milton. The book's getting harder to close.
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors. Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out. Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
Not only must they never use the same room twice, they also must never consider moving someone to a different room once tragedy occurs, because they already have a room. Like the room that, like, the half and half room of a dead kid and his brother. Like, okay, we're just gonna cordon off all the stuff of the death side, and you're just gonna have to, like, not experience trauma looking at it all the time. Awful.
Everyone always told me to stay out of Lewis's room. Except Lewis.
Awful, awful plan. Boop, boop, boop. Oh. No, she had a self-portrait of Dorian Gray kind of thing going on. Which Milton finding a magic paintbrush somewhere in the house would actually sort of support, and I hate that. Anyway.
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
Not quite the same. I don't have a hookah. Jesus Christ! How many different pipes can you need? Oh no. And a gamer as well.
He was so proud of being Indian. I think for him, it was a way to be something other than just a Finch.
Reasonable. Wait, no, that's the exit. No, I didn't mean to do that to you. He's not an addict. He can stop whenever he wants. Just doesn't want to.
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Well, what's one more, I suppose? You and I are right there, Sean.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life.
Oh.
He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to... wander.
Game?
I asked him to describe it. He said he started small. Imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads.
So he's playing a roguelike, considering... He's just playing rogue, considering, like, the enemies are just letters.
And things that have not names.
I know what that is. It's a slide. Oh.
He knew it was all in his head.
Ah. Oh, this is quite the exercise.
But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more.
Your next challenge is to play a drastically different video game with one hand than you are playing with the other.
I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery.
Oh, they've got jiggle physics on these fish.
I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused.
Yes. Focused.
Like a whole new Lewis.
Let go of the fish!
So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend.
A dog!
On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick.
And now it's like RuneScape? Is that what's happening here?
Musicians. And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever.
Until it wasn't. Where am I? Where am I? Where am I stuck? There am I.
Then one day it struck him.
Ah!
That all the cheering crowds,
Please!
even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination, so he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was
Legally
already
distinct
wandering.
flagpole.
It became a game for him.
The existence of that wall is...
Conquer a city, then immediately push on.
Stop! Bring the arm down!
New Louisville.
If you name one of these Lewiston, I'm calling foul.
St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality.
View simplified canoe controls.
Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery.
Oh.
Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on.
Fucking... How is the arm the hard part now?
In Lewisburg, he heard rumors of a beautiful prince.
Video game plays! Grab the fish!
The prince was on his own quest for...
God damn it!
Radiant rainbows.
I can't. I need you to understand I cannot pull the arm down. That is my problem.
He followed the sound of his...
The arm is stuck forward, and I cannot move it.
Silver harp.
Yes, it does, Sean. That's why I'm mad at it. That's what it does seem wrong. You're right.
His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound.
Yes, it was, and it no longer is. I cannot move this arm besides left and right, which is causing a real problem.
But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
The man door inside the giant palace door. Blah, okay. Good, I have mouse control in every axis again. Legally not anything.
He began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
Yeah.
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
Yeah, you can't even do it.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions.
You know, the structure of that's not particularly subtle.
The wise Calico who'd insisted on inviting him.
I see that French architecture coming together.
His prince waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do. Bend down his head. And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
2 left. I think perhaps we must be going long. Seems inappropriate to leave 2.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left.
You ran out of rooms?
My mom ended up leaving everything behind.
What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner.
But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night. That whole last day, Edie just
middle
watched
of the
us pack
page.
and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
the power had been shut off that morning, but
Good
Edie always
shit.
had plenty of candles.
Game?
When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground.
Uh-oh.
There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful.
I fucking bet.
I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around.
Yeah.
For a while, I wandered.
I mean, there's a flashing buoy light. Can I follow that?
Seeing things.
Hello. Goodbye.
Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw
Yes, normal
them,
beds.
they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go!
Ah.
I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car.
And the physical destruction of the story?
I never saw Great Grandma Edie again.
Oh, no.
The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of
the
it.
universal child in a car experience.
A few years went by.
No, that's fair. Something about that felt like the physical destruction of the book's
My mom didn't
spine
like to talk
would
about it,
destroy the story and thus the host of the story.
but she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly.
Not quite.
She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you.
Is this first-person perspective of a baby?
But now I hope you'll never see it.
I think this
I
is
just wanna
first-person
meet you.
perspective of a baby again, but
Tell you all
earlier than
these
the other
stories
one.
myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way. This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
I have perhaps an important question. Obviously you became pregnant probably the normal way. Otherwise, this family is remarkable for several other reasons. But is that person also doomed to the curse? Because they are now, by blood, the family? Whether or not they are in the family? What happens with that? Okay. Oh yeah, fair enough. Monroe, right? Ethan, can you snooze those? Thank you. This game in particular really does not like letting go of the mouse cursor. Thanks, Johan. There's a really good game for all of these children working on it. I couldn't get it out of my head. Oh well. Hey, wait a minute, I know that one. I know that one. Jeff Russo, you've done it again. Jesus Christ. You deserve the last name Fuss. That's a face. That's a very angry baby. It's a particularly tall wall. Yeah. Yeah, that seems to be the consistent thread with seeing Annapurna's name attached to a thing. It's like, oh, so this is another banger that you've sussed out. Got it. Oh, Lucas Pope. I'm not surprised to see you here either. Thank you. Tea time. Oh, the end. Okay. Very well then. Well, that certainly was beautiful and sad. Is that just our Thursday thing now?
Beautiful and sad?
Yeah. I think I need to make a new intro.
Tools.
Possibly replacing Friday I'm in Love
With Thursday I'm sad?
with Right in the Feels.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
I think I could do some pretty cool, what's the word I'm looking for here? Like, action words? No. When the words themselves are moving around the screen.
That's not it either.
There's a particular word for the visual that I'm thinking of, but I can't pull it out of my brain right now. Oh well. I'll figure something out. But yeah, having fewer days that are attached to fewer streams, shows that are attached to specific days of the week would be probably a very good choice. Why are there so many people playing Edith Finch right now? What? I thought I was hideously late to this. What? Okay. I was specifically looking for probably you. Yeah, let's toss some love over at Fizz again. I appreciate this goober. very briefly. Well, no, we'll take care of that another time. Yeah. Thank you all for being here. I don't know if I have any closing business specifically. But have a good night. Day. Wait, no, it's not even... Jules, you streamed earlier. It's 4 in the evening. Goodbye.